Alright, so are we gonna do a quick segment on our champions, I suppose, now?
I mean, we can do.
Alright, cool.
I will not answer it.
We know what you want to say, mate.
Well, obviously D1, Montana has just been dominant, but we've got to also look at the fact that some of his biggest championship rivals have dropped out or have come in late into the season, which could have changed things, but Montana was here for the entire season. No, he's been
It does make
consistent.
it very ultra consistent, and it does make next season very intriguing because we could have like people like Neo and Spine being here the entire time. You know, potentially you could see that fight a better fight because obviously new season everything is brought down to zero. You don't know who's going to come out next season and be up there at the top end. Maybe Campbell could even.
Will we see Daka win the D1 championship next season?
Yeah.
There's always a possibility.
Yeah, I know.
Alright, yeah, true. I may have to practice every single lever of every single week, but yeah, sure, we'll give it a crack, won't we?
Obviously, like D2. I mean, what can we say about Campbell? He's just jammy, isn't he?
So, like, with Dan's consistency across the whole season, I feel like that, like, I mean, obviously Campbell's done a decent job, but I feel like Dan, especially coming out from D3, probably did more to me to suggest like being the best driver this season. Campbell, obviously, with quite a few fortunate races, particularly Japan. Where like Dan was so dominant, and also the race went Campbell's way in the end. So yeah, I think Campbell a deserved champion, but overall, Dan, I think, certainly the better driver throughout the season.
I mean, what can I say? I mean, I've been put in my place here.
I mean, it's just like last season when you were J. Cole, you're a good number 2.
Who was the number 2 to this season? But that's the question.
Well,
it was a really good overall season from Dan. It's not over yet, still constructors to fight over next week, but I don't think anyone, I mean, I don't think he was expected to do this well coming up from D3 as champ of D3 coming up to D2. He was expected to fight for podiums on strong tracks, but I don't think he was expected to be in the title fight. And I don't think he might be saying that.
To be honest, the performance from Dan and B. Morgan this season in D2 coming up from D3 last season has been brilliant.
I think Morgan's actually the bigger surprise, to be honest, because like Dan was very, very dominant near the end of last season's D3. So the fact that he was actually, he's currently beating the reigning champion, and still in with a good shout of finishing P2 in the overall standings. So I think Morgan up there for driver of the season as well. Just like I don't think people were expecting. I think they were expecting him to do well, but like being just out of the title fight with a couple of races to go, I think that deserves an awful lot of credit as well.
Yeah, to be honest, I think before the season we were all kind of thinking Dan and B. Morgan would be well and truly planted in the midfield. Maybe getting like a couple of podiums here and there, but they've just taken it to a next level and really surprised us and gave Campbell, Caesar, everyone a run for their money. As no one says anything again, awkward silence.
You've just
I'm waiting for the D2 champion to have a say,
Well, I don't really know what to say. I mean, you've
okay, we'll move on.
Slated me publicly, so there's no coming back from it.
Where's the gloating? Come on, man.
I'm humbled. What are you on about?
What's cool? We actually had 10 minutes set aside for you to gloat.
Wait, hold on. Say you're humble. Says the guy that's name in the chat is Champ Bill.
That's all fun and games.
It's not the most arrogant name in the chat, but it is up there.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. He's been what's called hanging around with Shannon Briggs, haven't he? Let's go, champ.
As you said, I did more than Logan Paul. I sneezed a few times that morning.
Exactly,
with the
but-
win, so I mean, at
Exactly.
least one of Shannon's clients could, pull off
And
under pressure.
And you've not been relevant for only a few days instead of 5 years, so there's that as well.
Anyway,
Okay, yep. Anyway, right, move on to D3. What can we say about Adri?
he's picked up the pieces where all fell away, and that's why he's found his place where he is.
Yeah, one word:
Yeah.
consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute total consistency.
He always seemed to find his way in that top 4 battle, top 5. No matter what happened, he was always there.
Yeah, I feel sorry for guys like Nico who have dropped so many points and that just through connection and everything. And James as well, because his connection at the start of the season was absolute. Oh, you do not want to race against James at the start of the season. Jesus Christ. Honestly, I had a heart attack at Italy because of it.
I remember. I know it's not really relevant, but I raced him in an F2 race at Baku, and I overtook him halfway down the straight, or so I thought.
He pinged
right,
up
before
the
the
front
first, right before the first corner, he lagged back in front of me, and I got spooked and ran straight on at turn 1. So, yeah. But it seems to have improved a lot now, so fair play to him.
Yeah, I think this season has just been technical and too many incidents for everyone else compared to Adri.
I mean, you have to give credit him. He's managed to avoid all the mayhem that's been going on around him. It starts with races and whatever. He's if he's had a bad race, he's managed to recover back
USA
and bring home
excluded,
points.
but that's not really his fault.
Well, I mean, USA, Hungary, races where they haven't particularly worked out too well for him. If anyone remembers Hungary, that was a bad one. But I think he said after the Hungary race, that's when he really started to focus on his being more patient and everything.
No, I think that's shown, is it not? I mean,
Yeah, paid
how
off.
consistent it was, and he's found himself title winner with a race to go.
Yeah, we'll see
He
if
can,
he
he can sit at the side of the track with his deck chair up now. He doesn't need to take part.
Yeah, but he needs to decide on what he's going to have his Discord name. He can't make up his mind at the moment.
See, you should just
Has he
do
changed
what
it
I
in the
done,
last
pick
few
one and
hours?
stick with it.
Pardon?
I don't think
Is
he's
there
changed it.
Okay, right.
Well, he changed it from champ to... What was it? Number 1 now, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
Like number one.
I mean, it's not as iconic as LoE bottle job.
No, nothing will ever top that.
Or the LoE cat.
Apart from maybe LoE cat.
That cat will live on in history. We're getting
Yeah,
sidetracked
so-
here. Come on.
Yeah, obviously,
Back
all
on
we can
topic.
say about Adri, consistently picked up the pieces where everyone else fell apart, whether it was due to incidents or connections. That's
Pro
pretty much
deserving
what we
champion
can say.
because of that. Moving on
Awkward
then.
silence.
Moving on.
We're not. It's not been a great showing from us.
I've got an excuse, you guys don't. You're supposed
What's
to
your-
like
what's your
carry this
excuse?
podcast on your back.
Hey, look, right, we're
You
thrown
get the
off.
experience, don't you?
We're thrown off by being joined by a champion, right?
Exactly.
We're
You know.
thrown off.
And the
Result.
guy
Predictions.
that beat Gary at a FIFA game. You know.
What was it?
The
4-1,
grudge
wasn't it?
match. Finished 4-1.
4-1, yeah.
I 4-1 agree with that.
Oh no, not this again.
We've been there and done that. Come on. Predictions of Brazil.
Okay, well,
Right, so-
Brazil now. I'll let you take over D1 predictions and Campbell D2 me D3.
Okay. I'm gonna win. There's
Of course.
no debate really. Sorry, did someone say something?
I said, of course. You know, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Believe
Yeah,
in the words that you're saying right now.
It's just I'm just lethal, to be honest.
Is
Like,
this the point where the sandbags come out then?
the sandbags have been out for the last 17 races, mate. So I'm gonna show everyone my true ability. In second place will be I don't know, Jare, because he's going to, his competitive nature. He's gonna push with all he has to try and beat me because he's chasing me for P6 in the standings as well. But he's not quite going to manage it. It's going to be a tight race though. Good one between us. And then third place will be LoE because the GOAT deserves another podium and he'll get P2 in the standings. So yeah. No, but real talk.
Serious predictions now.
I thought that was a serious predictions.
Yeah. What's so?
You should know never to take a Scotsman seriously. You should know.
I mean, I do know that, but
I'm not sure if we're the. I think we're definitely not the three people in LoE that command the most respect. I've got to be honest. So.
What do you mean?
Right, serious predictions. Come on.
Yeah, come on, Dan. Sort it out.
I thought, oh, whatever. Right, and in first place we're gonna have Neo because I feel like his years of experience are gonna show in a tight DRS train race, and his racecraft will shine through, and he'll keep it clean on penalties as well, and he will win the race ahead of Montana, who will put up a good fight. It'll be a great duel between those two. I'm gonna say Neo ahead though. Interesting one. Just because Montana's won like the last 6 races in a row, and yeah, not gonna try and avoid being too boring, I suppose. But in third place, I'm gonna say, ooh, this is a tricky one. I'm gonna say, I'm just checking quickly. See, no, I don't know if anyone's not racing. I'll say Cantera then, just because I feel like maybe his results haven't quite been reflected, but pace hasn't been reflected so well this season. He'll have a chance to show what he's really made of and get that P3. So yeah, we'll say that.
Okay. Campbell, what about you with D2?
Do you want just one set of serious predictions, or do you want my ego-fueled predictions?
I mean, as long as it's quicker than Dan's predictions.
What do you mean, man?
Like, we'll just do serious predictions. For the one, I'm going to say it's going to be Caesar's going to win. Because you're going to come out of nowhere. People have forgot about him recently with the missing races and whatever. Caesar's going to win. We're going to have J. Cole second and Toxic third. That's going to be the top 3. It's going to be a different race
Interesting.
to what you'd expect, I think.
No Campbell on the podium, does that mean you've DNF'd?
No comment.
It means that he's not going to do any practice for it because he's already won, No desire, no hunger.
Oof.
No, there's the constructors to fight for. We'll do practice. Don't worry.
Ah, come on. You know your teammates got this,
That's why I need to practice.
What, do you not trust your teammate then?
Well, we just need to make sure no mishaps happen, that's all.
Okay, right, so we're learning all kinds of things that's going on in the Ferrari camp here today.
Anyway, Mike, D3?
D3, come on.
D3, I think, probably going to see...
Section.
Hang on, I just had to restart the recording because it's gone on for 60 minutes. That's how long we've actually been. Right. So, D3, Educt with the win. I want to say myself and Nico on the podium.
And you're going to beat Nico in the standings.
I don't know. I mean, realistically, any chance of Red Bull winning the constructors, we both need to be on the podium. I think I do have the pace here to be on the podium, so
Alright.
we'll see. We'll see what
We'll
happens.
see it.
Nico's connections got to hold out though.
I believe in it. I believe
If
in
it
it.
holds up, then good things will happen. For the
If
Red
it holds
Bull
up,
team.
I think Nico could probably, take the challenge to Educt and maybe win this race.
If it held up for the whole season, I reckon he'd be fighting Big
It
W.
could be right up there.
in the standings.
Well,
Awkward silence.
Again.
Well, there's been like 3 or 4 races where his connection has completely kicked him, and he's missed 4 races as well, I think. So, the possibility he could have been there fighting with Adri at the top.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about that, but
Well,
yeah.
it could be if he managed to put those races together where he lost connection. Could have attended some of those races he's missed, and by all means, it could be up there.
I remember
It's
he was
what
at
it
the
would
sharp
take.
end at Russia, Canada,
He
and
ran away with Abu Dhabi.
Brazil
But he's
as
shown
well.
he's had the pace.
Not Brazil, Belgium. He was at the sharp end there as well.
He's shown he's had the pace at multiple races. Just it's not all came together from him. So there's
his
potential.
pace is there because I've helped
Mhm.
him.
Oh,
Wow.
This is the conspiracy against me from Dan. Right? He doesn't want me to beat Nico, so he's helping Nico to beat me. Conspiracy
No,
theory.
I've been exposed. No.
Doesn't want to see a Welshman
You exposed
succeed.
yourself.
Well, it just got exploited by Meg. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, end of the day, I think Adri, he doesn't need a podium at this race. He's probably not going to go full out for the win. He's probably not even going to try. He's got the drivers wrapped up. Constructors, I think Renault just need 13 points to win it.
Smitsky
So-
can get 26 on his own. It's no problem.
Smitsky is the GOAT.
I would actually love for him to come out and just like carry Android
Sure.
to the constructors in this race. That'd be pretty funny.
Joe, right? If Renault win the constructors and one of them's on the podium, I would want it to be Smitsky because he's worked so hard this season, and he does have that one podium from Hungary, but it'd be nice to see him on the podium again.
He's just made that change to wheel now as well, hasn't he? So I mean, maybe that's will unlock his true potential. Making this jump to the wheel where it would just allow him to become a god, really.
Yes, and then next season, then Smitsky, D3 champion.
Smitsky for the
Let's
D1
get a D1.
title.
Oof. But yeah, that's my predictions for Brazil anyway. Educt or Nico for the win. Myself joining those two on the podium.
Yeah, you were criticising me for the amount of time I took. I'd say that.
But
I'd definitely there.
we were having meaningful conversations, like,
Exactly.
Excuse me, we were talking about whether my prediction was serious or not. I'd say that's pretty meaningful.
No, it
carries
wasn't
weight.
meaningful. It wasn't meaningful because you're Scottish.
Wow.
You're outnumbered here.
Yeah, 2-1. Come on, mate. Let's go.
You said not to take anything a Scottish person says seriously, so it's not 2-1.
But it is because there's 2 of us and 1 of you. So
Yeah, but you said not to take anything a Scottish
you
says.
know we are serious.
Oh, I know when Scottish people get serious, because that's when the accent really starts to get really thick.
well, not with me, to be honest.
And mine just constantly quite thick, so I mean, how can you judge?
And we gone off topic again.
We have, yeah. I think this might be a good time to wrap things up.
Well,
Well,
we've
we
rambled on
haven't-
enough.
We haven't spoken about the battles going into the final round, because we keep getting sidetracked. I
But-
mean, I can always edit it out anyway.
No, please don't. It adds substance to the podcast.
Okay, I'm leaving this in so you guys understand.
So what battles
But-
do we have going into D1 then, for the final race?
Well, the big one is the battle for P2, which I touched on a bit at the start. the big LoE versus Neo, and I mean, I've got my money on Neo for that one purely just down to just the sheer pace, really. Luigi, you can pretty much guarantee he's gonna get points of some sort. Just the question is, will he be able to match up with Neo's just well being up front in most of the races or having a chance to be? So I think obviously only 1 point between them. It's going to be a tight one, but I think Neo will probably just edge it. Good one though, and that's the main one in D1. There's a lot of there's still a lot of drivers tight from like P5 downwards. It's still very close actually in the standings, but I'm not going to go into all the permutations for that one. Just Cantera currently holds P5 just ahead of me, and then there's some other guys like Harrison. Well, he's not going to be racing. Larkin, YHYY, Jari. They're all sort of in contention for it.
All right, and obviously D2 is going to be
mainly the constructors to be wrapped up by either Red Bull or Ferrari. I think there's 10 points of difference now after B Morgan's win last week, and both one Red Bull and one Ferrari. Not seen the checkered flag at the end. But there's also now the battle for P2, and the standings is closed down a lot between the two Red Bulls. So maybe we can have a wee Red Bull Civil War and Ferrari walk home at the constructors. Who knows?
Yep, and in D3 we got the outside chance of Red Bull upsetting Renault in the final race to win the constructors. But we've also got a 4-race scrap for third in the championship between James, Educt, myself and Nico. 18 points between Nico and James, so that is possible, but it's kind of towards the unlikely side, and me being 1 point ahead of Nico is also unlikely that I'll be able to jump James as well. But along with that, we got a massive three-way constructors battle for third in the championship with McLaren, Haas and Racing Point separated by 12 points altogether. So that's going to be a tasty battle, and we'll see what happens.
It's awful close over the full season. 12 points between the three teams. That'll go right down to the
crazy stuff.
Possible last lap. Could have a constructors is that Glock moment.
You'd love to see it, but we got anything else to talk about, lads?
I think that is
right.
it. So, guys, thank you for joining myself, Dan, and Campbell here today, reviewing the Belgian Grand Prix and previewing the Brazilian Grand Prix as we go into the final race of the season. I hope we all do well. I hope all three of us individually win the race, because I think we deserve it.
Don't hold your breath.
We deserve it. I mean, Campbell doesn't deserve it too much. He's already had enough this season. But me and Dan deserve it. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us, and thank both of you for joining me for this.
No problem.
And we'll catch you on Saturday, 6:20 for Division 3, 7:15 for Division 1, and then 7:45 for Division 2, final round of the season. Hope you all have a good one, and don't forget to tune in on Saturday for some epic battles. Until then, guys, have a good one.
See ya.